Well, hello there and welcome again to my workshop. I've got a little apology to make here. I was going to make this kitchen stool out of the oak timber that I was milling up on my CNC machine on the last video, but unfortunately I pulled a few muscles in my back and I couldn't really lump them around, so I went out and bought some ready dressed oak furniture grade, and so I'm going to make it out of that. So we're still going to make the stool, so I'm going to show you absolutely everything, every stage of making this, and there will be a third video of the finishing of this, so you can then, if you wish, replicate it yourself. So this is the first stage in the gluing up. These are 35 mil, I think they're inch and a half thick timbers, oak, but it wasn't quite thick enough. So what I did, I left that for a few hours and then cleaned them up, and then I got some 19mm planking and put in the opposite direction across them. I just needed to flatten both sides, actually, make sure that they were totally flat before I laid up the next level then of oak timbers. So what I'm doing here, I'm just laying at the timbers to measure up what was left, because it was an odd size. So I then skinnied out a piece to fit in there, and I put it into the middle, actually, which you know, sort of then doesn't give you any problems with in any form. If you want to put a screw into the, you know, the edge area, it's still, you know, you're screwing into a full size piece of wood, not just a little small piece. So then the layering up. So while I was layering that up, I actually cut the same size material to make the backrest, and so I decided to layer that up at the same time. And of course, as always, lots and lots of sanding with these jobs. You know, if you're going to do a decent job, it just takes quite a bit more time and quite a bit more care, but it can turn out really, really nice, you know, a professional job. And as well, actually, I do like to keep my hand in and do these sort of jobs manually. I've done it all sort of just using small tools like this and hand rotors and what have you, because I just like to keep my hand in, and I think a lot of the guys out there think that I don't know how to do it. And I think the main reason behind that is because everybody sees me doing it with a CNC machine, which it appears to be simple, but it can be very complex, you know, writing programs and what have you for the CNC machine. And the CNC machine will absolutely do all this, but you know, it's nice to do it manually now and again, just to keep your hand in. Now this is quite a simple job. This is actually making a lap joint, and this is the easiest way to do it, other than using a CNC machine. CNC will do this in 10 seconds flat, but of course this is the older accepted way to do it, if you haven't got a dado blade, that is. And of course finish it off then with a chisel, clean it up, and yeah, this is the old-fashioned way of doing it. So what I'm doing here is I'm making a simple tool actually to score or mark the arc that's required for the backrest. And this is the simplest way that actually my grandfather back in the early 60s showed me this little trick, and it's very simple, and I think it explains itself there. Just a little bit of fiddling about trying to get it get the arc right, the start and finish of the arc, because I didn't want to go through to the backboard there and you know, sort of reveal several different pieces of wood then. And so I gave myself an area to work, in other words a minimum and maximum area, so I could get the bandsaw in there and saw it out. But it went really well actually. When using a bandsaw, all you've really got to remember is, you know, keep a close eye on where the blade's going, keep it upright, keep the material upright, go slow, and I mean this is speeded up 4 times, so I'm going really slow, and keep your fingers away from the blade. Always be conscious of where that blade is and where your fingers are. And in conjunction with the belt sander, you can make a really nice job of making, you know, anything really. But in this case, this back plate or back rest for this this stool. And now what I'm doing is I'm rounding over all the material. I'm just leaving a couple of faces that's not required. So I just got out my old rotor table, which probably I haven't run for about 4 years, and rounded everything over by hand. And of course, as always, more sanding. Actually, you know, sanding is probably the worst job of the whole affair. I think it's the most disliked job, I think. But it's a necessary evil, and you know, everybody's got to do it if you're playing around with wood. So I hope you've liked this video today. And the third video in this series, and the finish of this stool, the assembly, and you know, the vanishing. I'm probably going to do a little bit of a stain as well. That'll be in the next couple of days. So thank you for joining me. Press like, subscribe to my channel, and bye for now.